So hey, what's up guys, this is AK, and you are watching my YouTube channel AKM. So guys, welcome back to a brand new tips and tricks video of PUBG Mobile. Aiming like a pro is not about spending 8 hours every single day inside the game. It is one of the biggest misconceptions in PUBG Mobile, and it stops so many players from improving. Most players think that the only way to get better aim is by playing match after match for hours. They keep grinding, hoping that their aim will magically improve, but they keep making the same mistakes in every fight. That is exactly why they still lose close-range battles, even with good sensitivity, smooth controls, and decent movement. The problem is not the amount of time they spend playing. The problem is how they use the skills they already have during real fights. Small habits decide whether your crosshair stays on the enemy or flies all over the screen. Once you fix those habits, your aim becomes much more consistent without needing endless hours of gameplay. Today I am going to show you 3 habits that experienced players use naturally, and once you start using them, you will notice the difference almost immediately. Now with that said, let's move on to the habits. The first habit is choosing your fights instead of taking every fight you see. One of the biggest mistakes that most players make is challenging every enemy the moment they spot them. They see movement, immediately start shooting, and hope their aim is enough to win. Players usually do this because they think every fight is a good opportunity for a kill. But experienced players know that not every fight is worth taking immediately. The problem is that many of these fights begin with you at a disadvantage. The enemy might already have cover, a better angle, or a stronger position. Even if your aim is good, you are making the fight much harder than it needs to be. The better habit is to spend 1 or 2 seconds creating a better opportunity. Change your position, wait for the enemy to expose themselves, or move to an angle where you have the advantage before firing. Imagine you spot an enemy behind a rock in Livik. Instead of instantly spraying from the open, move to another angle where the rock no longer protects them. Now the enemy has to react to you, while you already have your crosshair ready. This immediately improves your consistency because you stop depending on perfect aim. Better fights are easier to win, and easier fights naturally make your aim look much stronger. Now let's move on to the second tip. The second habit is learning to predict the enemy instead of only reacting to them. Most players wait until they actually see the enemy before moving their crosshair. By that time, they are already reacting late. Players make this mistake because they think good aim is all about fast reflexes. In reality, experienced players win more fights because they know where enemies are likely to appear before they actually appear. The better habit is to constantly think one step ahead. As you move around the map, ask yourself where the enemy is most likely hiding, where they will peek from, or which cover they will use next. For example, if you knock one enemy behind a rock, there is a good chance that their teammate will peek from either side to support them. Instead of waiting to react, keep your crosshair ready on that angle. The moment they peek, you are already prepared. This makes your aim feel much faster because you are no longer depending only on reaction speed. You are expecting the fight before it happens. The third habit is avoiding unnecessary movement while shooting, especially during long-range fights. One of the biggest mistakes players make is constantly jiggling left and right while spraying at an enemy in long range. They also keep peeking the same angle over and over with random movements, thinking it makes them harder to hit. Most players do this because they copy professional players without understanding why they move the way they do. They believe that moving more automatically means surviving longer. The problem is that unnecessary movement often hurts your own aim more than it hurts your opponent. Every time you jiggle during a long-range spray, your crosshair becomes less stable, your recoil becomes harder to control, and your bullets start missing. The same thing happens when you keep peeking with random movement. Your aim is never settled, and you expose yourself at the wrong moments. The better approach is to move only when there is a reason to move. During long-range sprays, plant yourself in a stable position whenever it is safe, focus on controlling your recoil, and let your aim do the work. When peeking from behind cover, avoid unnecessary jiggles. Peek with purpose, take your shots, return to cover, then change your position only if needed. For example, imagine you are fighting an enemy about 100 meters away behind a tree. Instead of continuously moving left and right while spraying, take cover behind a rock, expose yourself just enough to shoot, keep your aim steady, and control your recoil. You will land far more bullets than if you are constantly jiggling. The same applies when fighting from a window or behind a wall. A clean peek with controlled aim is much more effective than repeated random peeks. This habit immediately improves your consistency because stable aim wins more long-range fights than unnecessary movement. Once you stop moving without a purpose, your sprays become more accurate, your peeks become safer, and your overall gameplay becomes much more consistent. So guys, that was all for today's video. If you found this video helpful, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more PUBG Mobile tips, aiming guides, movement tutorials, and practical gameplay advice that will help you improve faster. Hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.